Hi, I'm Steve Karstensen, visual effects artist for Modern Marvels Entertainment, and as I'm pretty hungry right now, I've chosen to represent myself as a cheeseburger. Welcome to the first in a series of tutorials designed to help you get the most out of the movies by using FXHome's Hitfilm editing and effects software. We'll be focusing on Hitfilm 3 Express and occasionally dipping into both 3 and 4's Pro versions so you can see what powerful features upgrading can bring you. I'll be sure to indicate at the start of each tutorial which versions you'll need in order to follow along. What I'm not going to do is an in-depth how-to on Hitfilm itself. These videos are going to assume that you already know how to do such things as create projects and composite shots, edit the timelines, manage layers, and work with keyframes. If you don't, I suggest you head on over to Hitfilm's YouTube channel and start watching. Axel and Simon have gone into far more depth than I possibly could on how Hitfilm works, and for the most part their tutorials for older versions of Hitfilm will still work for the later ones. The link is in the description, and each video I'll be pointing you directly to any relevant tutorials so that you can go watch them beforehand and get up to speed. I'm also going to assume that you have stunts and effects installed, because I'm going to make heavy use of the additional features therein, particularly the blue screen set. With that out of the way, let's get started. Today I'm going to show you how to use Hitfilm's color difference key, which is how Hitfilm is able to use green screen footage or do chroma key effects. You may already be familiar with the blue screen and green screen sets from the movies and adding custom backgrounds via modding. Although changing the background scenery was the primary use of the blue and green screen sets, using Hitfilm allows far more flexibility. I'll show you what I mean in a moment, but first let's talk about exporting. If you already have a process that you use to capture footage from the movies and it works to your satisfaction, that's great. If not, you'll want to export your video from the post-production building in the highest quality the game has to offer, which will produce a WMV file at a resolution of 768 by 432. Although the final resolution of your movie is up to you, you will definitely need to convert the file format, because although Hitfilm imports WMV files, your audio is likely to play back incorrectly. If you don't plan on using the audio from your footage at all, this is less of an issue, but converting WMVs to a format Hitfilm likes better will save you a lot of time in the long run regardless. I convert my footage to either M2TS or DNxHD depending on my needs. M2TS works well for smaller files, and DNxHD is pretty much the best format for Hitfilm to work with because it's specifically made for editing. However, the file sizes are astronomical. Expect a single minute of footage to consume over 400 megabytes of space. I use a program called Video to Video for my conversions, as it handles every conceivable audio and video format you can think of, including the ones I just mentioned. You can get it at the developer's homepage, a link to which is found below. If you plan on using DNxHD, you'll need Avid's codecs and a QuickTime installation from Apple. I've also linked to Avid's webpage below. Note that DNxHD only supports export resolutions of 1280 by 720 or higher, or at least those are the only two that Video to Video supports. This is not a problem, although again, your file sizes will suffer. So now that you know how to process your footage, let's do something far more interesting. Using a color difference key, or green screening as I like to call it, is a process by which an actor, or whatever, is shot in front of either a solid blue or solid green background. We can then use software, like Hitfilm, to knock out that blue or green, and replace it with something else, similar to how you can change the backdrops and floor with the sliders on the blue screen set in-game. Doing it in Hitfilm opens up a world of options for you, from simple backdrop replacement to extremely complex effects. Here's a simple monologue scene that I captured in-game with the default camera settings on the blue screen set. I've exported it at the highest quality setting and converted it to an M2TS file, then imported it into Hitfilm. We're going to use the color difference key to replace the background with something a little more interesting. I'm going to use this static shot from the City Block Corridor set. Add the clip to your timeline, and then right-click it and create a composite shot. Optionally, you can right-click the shot and scale it up to fill the entire frame if you're working at a resolution larger than the one you exported to. At this point, I like to switch to the compositing layout, so do that if you prefer. Once you're on the composites timeline, drag the shot you want to use as the replacement backdrop into the shot, making sure to place it underneath the foreground shot. Hitfilm renders from back to front, meaning that whatever is on the bottom of the stack will appear at the back of the shot, and so on. Open the Effects tab and find the Color Difference key under the Keying category, then drag it onto your actor layer. Drill down into the effects listing for that layer, then click on the Color Difference key and open the Controls tab. You should now see the effect settings available to play with. Select the color of the screen that you used, and if you're lucky, you may not have to do anything else. If you're not lucky, you'll need to fiddle with the key controls to make sure the actor is properly isolated. Generally, raising the min and lowering the max values until you get what you're looking for works best, but sometimes you may need to adjust the gamma as well. Toggling on and off the matte view will give you a good idea of what kind of adjustments you'll need to make. The white is what you'll see, and the black is what will be replaced. And there you have it, a chroma keyed shot. Being able to merge footage like this goes a long way towards allowing you to create all kinds of custom shots. For example, here's a scene from Gangs of Chicago Episode 2 where Flash and the Chief share a confused look. Let's break it down and see how it was done. The scenes themselves are the latter half of the Paranoid Check scene shot on the blue screen set, and the elevator is a static shot from the city block corridor. I imported the static shot into Hitfilm and exported a single layer to use as my background, then simply overlaid the two actor layers on top and shifted them over a bit on the y-axis so that they didn't overlap. Apply the color difference key to both layers and set it to blue, and then flip the Chief horizontally by changing his scale X parameter to -100%. There are loads of other ways you can use the color difference key in the movies, and we're going to explore those in future tutorials, but all of them start with the concepts explained here. If you want to learn more about the ins and outs of green screen shooting in Hitfilm, check out FXHome's channel. I've linked a few tutorials for you to get started with. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the adventures of Jack Macy and the gang over at Modern Marvels.